No design is possible until the materials with which you design are completely understood. Ludwig Miles van der Rohe. Hello, everybody. My name is Aline Infante, and today I'm going to be talking about the Chapter 4, Design and Adaptation of Materials. This is a very interesting topic, and I like it because it involves a lot of creativity from the teacher. And actually all the process does. Because yes, it may sound easy that we can just create or design the material. But the truth is that if we really want that the learning happens in the classroom, there are many factors that we have to take in consideration. And let's start by understanding what is a learning task. What is a task? Well, according to Noonan, task requires a specification of 4 components: the goal, the input, the activities derived from this input, and finally, the role implied for the teacher and learners. The goals are principally the answer to the question, why? Why did you do this activity, or why did you do that? The goals serve as a point of connection between the curriculum or syllabus and the classroom. We could say that is what the teacher wanted the students develop. The input refers to the data that form the point of departure from the task, which for a communicative task refers to any of a range of authentic sources or authentic type sources. And that can be letters, newspapers, picture story photographs, menus, etc. The input, we could say that is the material that the students will use in the task. The activities, well, they specify what learners will actually do with the input, the activity itself. Then we have the learner role that refers to the involvement of the learners in every aspect of the course design, to the degree of control that the learner has over the learning process, and the degree of autonomy that the learner may assume. About the teacher role, well, learner's role and teacher's role are very linked to the status or function that the teacher has. So the main issue here are the degree to which the teacher is responsible for content or for how the learning takes place, and the interactional patterns that develop between teachers and learners. But in Noonan's diagram, we could find another component for the task, and it's very important too, so I wanted to mention it, and it is the setting. The setting refers to the classroom management specified or implied in the task. For example, if the students are going to be working in groups, in big groups or small groups, pair work, individual work, etc. I have personally found these components very useful in my practice because having them in consideration when I'm planning or designing my classes have helped me to have my objective clear as well as the steps that are needed in order to accomplish. So another issue in task design is the processing that learners are required to do to complete a task. The processes can be top-down processing, which is crucial to successful real-time language use, and it involves how we interpret what we hear or read and relate it to a background. But also the processing can be bottom-up process, which focuses on the various components or elements of language and then aim to fit this together in comprehending or producing language. When I worked with younger learners, I mostly used bottom-up processes. And then I encourage students to find their connection so they could build their knowledge, but starting with the components. However, at this moment, my current students are more teenagers, and they already have a certain level that allows me to use more top-bottom processes. For example, I can start by discussing a topic or sharing a video, and then having the students relating the information with their previous knowledge. It's something functional. Another aspect that we have to take in consideration is the task type, real world versus pedagogic. Well, the distinction can be applied in all the components of the task, the goals, the activities, and the input. And well, as the name says, those focus on a real world lead the learners to a more real situation. They are more focused to a practice that can be applied out of the classroom. On the other hand, we have the pedagogic. This pedagogic task is more focused in a classroom environment. We cannot say that one is better than the other. Both of them are useful. I think that the thing here is that we as teachers must think in our students and their needs, so we can choose the one that is going to be more helpful for our students. And all these tasks are focused on developing 4 main skills. And these are reading, listening, writing, and speaking. And it's very, very important that we have clear what these 4 skills involve, so we can design tasks that really consider our learners so they can develop them correctly. And well, there are much more that we could say about this, but at this moment, I'm going to pass to the adaptation of materials. What is adaptation of materials? Well, basically is to take a material that already exists and change it in order to make it work for our class. And according to Tomlinson, the excellence of materials lies in the appropriate and unique tuning for use that teachers might be better engaged in. For McDonough and Shaw, an effective adaptation is a matter of achievement congruence. They see adaptation as process of matching external features of a learning teaching situation to the internal features. And they also mention something that I really like, which is personalization of materials. I like this because this refers to increase the relevance of the content in relation to the learner's interests and needs. So we have to take in account our students to do this. Now the question is how? What techniques can we use for adapting the materials? Well, again, McDonough and Shaw have a proposal here. Firstly, they consider that we have to match congruence, external criteria with internal criteria. And then we're going to localize, personalize, or individualize the materials by means of the techniques. These are the techniques: adding, deleting, modifying, simplifying, or just reordering the material. And this is applied to the content areas like language practice, text, skills. This is how we change it in this order. But there is one more element mentioned by Julie and Polito, and this is the evaluation, which, as they mentioned, turns the process into a dynamic one, since the teachers have to examine whether they are yes or not meeting the objectives. This means that the process is not linear, but it is more like a cycle. So we can say that the history is not finished yet. But now we have a clearer picture of what are the implications of designing and adapting materials, the factors that we should take in consideration, and the fact that this is not a finished process. It is a cycle that can lead us to more transformation or evolution. All this information has been taken from this reference. Thank you so much for your attention. I hope that this can be useful and that you enjoy it. See you next time.